Arizona is going on the road to take on Coach Prime and the Buffs, man. The Buffs right now, they're on a 3-game losing streak, man. Meanwhile, Arizona, they're one of the hottest teams in college football. They've won 3 straight. They beat UCLA, Oregon State, Washington State. They got a really underrated offense with some good receivers, a decent offensive line. They got a good young quarterback in Noah Fafita, who's looked on fire as of late. He has 14 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and they got a really good pass rush and a really good run defense, which doesn't vote well for Coach Prime and the Buffs because their offensive line the last 2 weeks has played as bad as it has all season long. They gave up 7 sacks against UCLA. They struggled to protect Shedeur against Oregon State. The last 2 weeks, Colorado's offensive line has basically told opposing defensive lines, it's a buffet out there. It's an all-you-can-sack on Shedeur Sanders. Colorado, they really need to win this game if they want to have an opportunity to become bowl eligible. I don't really think they got that big of a chance to upset Utah. So their 2 winnable games come against Arizona in this matchup and when they play Washington State. And Arizona, this isn't the team that I initially thought it was going to be when Colorado was set to play them a couple of weeks ago. Well, when I initially was looking at this game a couple of weeks ago, because I didn't think Arizona was going to be that good. I thought Arizona was going to be a middle-of-the-road Pac-12 team, and they've been better than that. They've been one of the better teams in the Pac-12 this year, and it shows with their wins over UCLA and Oregon State. Arizona's defense is pretty solid, but you definitely like Colorado's ability to put up points on Arizona's defense. And this is probably the best offensive display that Colorado could put on in this performance, in this game in the last couple of weeks. I mean, the last couple of weeks, Colorado's offense has not looked the way it did earlier this season when they were 3-0. And the main reason for that is because of the offensive line. Now, they changed play callers. They went from Sean Lewis to Pat Shurmur, and we didn't really see too much of a change. Are we finally going to notice some change with the play calling in this game? Are they going to put more emphasis on running the football? Are they going to put more emphasis on leaving in an additional tight end or running back to pass protect and help keep Shedeur upright? I guess we'll see, but offensively, Colorado should be able to put up at least 27 or 30 points on Arizona's defense, regardless of how much pressure Arizona's able to get. I don't think Arizona's secondary is that good. Colorado's receivers are just as good as any other team's receivers in this conference outside of USC and Washington. As long as you can give Shedeur a little bit of time to throw the football, you should be able to have success on offense, regardless of who's calling the plays. Defensively, Colorado's defense has played really good the last 2 weeks. They played good against Oregon State, and they also played good against UCLA. It's just that the offense has let them down with how inefficient they've been because of their inability to protect up front. Now, I believe that Colorado's offensive line is going to have the best game that they've had in over the last month or so. Yes, Arizona has a really good pass rush, but I don't think it's as good as what UCLA and Oregon State had. Now, they still got a really formidable pass rush, but I don't think they're going to be getting to Shedeur the same way that we saw UCLA and Oregon State and company being able to get after Shedeur. Now, of course, they're going to have 3-4 sacks in this game. That's a given because when has Shedeur ever had a game where he's been throwing out of a clean pocket for the whole entire game? Never. Not all this season. So he's accustomed to it. But I think with Shedeur Sanders in this game, he really is going to be the difference maker in Colorado being able to keep this thing close. You see, last week, Arizona was like a 6-point favorite in this game. Now they're an 11-point favorite based on how they played last week and how they've looked like one of the hottest teams in the Pac-12. But at the end of the day, this is a conference that is notoriously known for having a lot of late season upsets. And as long as you can protect Shedeur and you can give him time to throw the football, Colorado should be able to hang around in this game. Arizona, at times, their young quarterback can be a little bit careless with the football. I definitely expect him to give Travis Hunter a couple of interceptions. And the way Colorado's defense has played, you feel comfortable with them being able to slow down this Arizona offense. The only question is, can Colorado make the most of when their defense is able to get off the field and get stops and get the ball back to the offense? That's the thing. Colorado hasn't done a great job at playing complementary football. That's what has hurt Colorado. And if you're a jet fishing company, you feel really confident that your defensive front should be able to replicate the same success that UCLA and Oregon State were able to have. But I don't know about that. Yes, you do have a good pass rush, but I don't know if it's as good as UCLA. UCLA has one guy that potentially could be a top 5, top 10 pick in next year's draft. And I don't know if you quite have that good of a secondary to hold these receivers. So I'm expecting Colorado's offense to put up some points, but Arizona offensively, they can put up a lot of points in their own right. And as I said, this is a really big game for Colorado because you're 4-5 right now. Your season is pretty much in free fall mode. You need this win to become one game closer to becoming bowl eligible. And if you win against Arizona, which you have a good chance of being able to pull off this upset because, for one, you're playing at home. 2, you got the quarterback advantage. 3, Arizona's pass rush isn't as good as what you've seen the last 2 weeks. So you should be able to have your best performance on offense that you've had in the last couple of games. I'm taking Colorado to get the upset. They're playing at home. They're a huge underdog. I like Shedeur Sanders to have a really big time performance. I'll say around 3-4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and I think this offensive line can hold up enough where Colorado's offense should get back to playing that the way that we saw at the beginning of this season when they went 3-0.